Okay, so it's late at night, and I want to tell you what I've done in the last, like, hour and a half or 2 hours. And it has to do with this thing. I'm going to get rid of this. This was a triangle gate that I was really trying to work with. Come on. And I'm going to delete it. Because what I did, delete that too. I had this new triangle gate, and I actually made it from the tile that used to be called the incorrect tile. Tile incorrect. And you can see that because when I click on this, it says tile incorrect. Okay. Now, I don't know why this was the case, but the incorrect tile was the only one that I could overlap, and I don't know why. So, you know, like a lot of game design, I mean, I read this in blogs all the time. Like, stuff messes up, stuff is weird, stuff doesn't work right, and a lot of it is just making it work. So I would love to figure out why when I took your original triangle gate, it wasn't generating an overlap event, but I can't figure it out. And, you know, it was taking a lot of time. So why am I telling you all this? Because I want to point out, I went back into, this set y plus 300. And I actually found out it's actually setting it to x equals 300. It's pushing it in the x direction first. I don't know why we called it y. But what I want to do is, I also changed this a little bit and made it a little bit better. What I did was, I grabbed this checker and I said get overlapping actors. That's true. That's what I liked. And the next thing I did, let's just get rid of these. The next thing I did was I did a for each loop. And what that does is it's going to get a group of actors, whatever that checker is overlapping. It's going to get for each, it's going to run a loop for each component in this array. And right now all it's doing is saying get display name. And it's going to print that name. And so it's going to do it however many times it overlaps something. And then when it's completed, it's coming up here and it's going into that return node. Let me just delete that as well. And that return node just prints end, okay? So let's compile all of this and run that just so you can see. I placed this knight here, so it's actually going to... I actually have two components here. I have the original tile, and then I have this tile as well. It has a green base, and so that's so that it can generate that hit event. I think that's what it's doing. So let's push play, and you'll see two things. Tile 139, tile 01 incorrect, and then end. Okay, let's do that again. Tile 01 incorrect, tile 139, and end. Yay! And so those tiles that it's running into are this tile, which is tile 139, and then this tile, which is tile 01 incorrect. Because the name is still incorrect. If I were to change that right now, I would call this tile, tile underscore triangle gate. And so now when I play this, triangle gate. Yep, perfect! All right. So, we're almost there. I'm almost there. Now that I did that, I am also going to change this to now initial check. I'm going to set this function to equal set, rename it set x plus 300. Because again, that's what it does. There we go. That makes a lot more sense. Now in here, what I actually want to do is to see if it overlaps something that it shouldn't. And so if it overlaps nothing, I'm going to get a false for overlap. Okay? If it overlaps the gate, then it's going to generate a true. And if it overlaps the gate, or if it overlaps a tile, it should be true. But if it overlaps a gate, we're going to set that to false. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. I'm going to get rid of this get display name. I'm going to get rid of print string. For every loop body, I'm going to see, does it have a tag? Get. So let's see. I'm just going to type in tag, and I will say get all actors with tag. No. Oh, right, I need to actually check to see if the array element. So I'm going to say has tag, actor has tag, and if it has the tag tile, okay? And that's going to... Oh, goodness. What do I do here? It needs to check. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to create a variable, and I'm going to call this hasTag. Oops, I'm going to call it hasTag tile. Okay? And so what I'm going to do is say for every loop body branch, it's going to say, hey, does that actor have a tag tile? Well, if the answer is true, I'm going to say set hasTag tile to true. Okay, that's good. And then I'm going to say, okay, that's all I want. I'm not going to do anything if it's false. Because what if it actually gets... it's going to do that. But I'm also going to say hasTag... Oh, and this is where I'm going to bring in this little guy. Tile triangle gate. I'm also going to select the base of the triangle gate, and I'm going to give it a tag called gate. I'm going to give it another tag called trigate, and I might use that later. Okay, now that I know this has, I've got to compile and save. Okay. Now that I know that actor has tag of gate, right? Because that was the tag, was it not? Yes, gate. I'm going to say branch. That branch is, does it have gate? And if it's true, we're going to say set oh, I don't have that yet. Gotta make that. hasTag gate. Set hasTag gate to true. Okay. Now, that's where it's going to end. Those are the two possibilities, because if it's not overlapping anything, it won't do this, right? It won't even have any objects. Okay. So I guess before we even do anything, I'm going to say set this to false and set hasTag gate to false as well. Okay, that way when I reuse this, it'll be fine. Okay. Now, once it's completed, I'm going to have another branch. And this branch is, does it have tile? Well, if the answer is false, then we don't do anything. Oh, I know, we set go. We'll have another we'll have another Boolean called go. Okay? So first we're going to come back and we will set go to false as well. Okay. Now, if tag has tile, true, set go to true. Well, if it's false, we can keep go set to false. You know what? Let's just go ahead and set go to false, just in case. And you know what? No, we can be fine with that. The next thing we need to check for is branch. And we need to say tag has gate. Now, if it's true and it has a gate, we need to set go. Oh, Lord. Set go to false. And if it's false, set go to true, which it already was true. Let's go ahead and bring that there, and we are going to get go into the overlap. Because if go is true, that means yes, it's overlapping. Okay. Sounds like a lot. Let's actually see if it worked. In the event graph, I'm going to print string, and we will go with get go. Now it's going to print whether or not we have a tile in front of us, a gate in front of us. So let's try this. False. All right. Now, let's move this tile away. Still false. Okay, I know what was going wrong. First of all, I was still in the mode. I'm actually searching for objects or for actors that it's overlapping, not components. And so I guess in my previous example, we were selecting the static mesh and giving it a tag. Well, that's not what I'm doing anymore. It's just easier. I could actually delete this tag if I wanted to. It's kind of easier to say, hey, this element, get its object name, and in this case the object name is what's called in the world outliner. And so all of these are actually called tile something something. So I'm going to say if it has the word tile in it, or the letters tile in it, that's going to tell me if it's able to go onto it. And then the other thing I did was I renamed this triangle component, the triangle gate, and I called it BP triangle gate. I actually created a blueprint from it that is pretty much the same as the original tile, but it's got the triangle gate on top of it. So it's actually checking for those. It's checking for those two things. And it's setting is it tile. I renamed the booleans to is tile to is gate. And then it's saying the branch. Hey, if it is a tile, set go to yes, to true. If it is a gate, set go to no. And if it isn't a gate, set keep go at true. And then we're going to grab go and add it to the overlap. And so in event graph, let me make this really big, I grab that overlap and drag it into here, print string, and that's going to keep track of, hey, did I overlap anything? Good. Can I move on? If that's true, it'll allow me to move on. Compile that, and so now you can see it will print false, true, false, because that gate is there. And the last one is what I want to print, is the last one true. Click that, it's true, true. Good job! So, there, we did it. We were able to, the point of this was to get this entire code inside this little function, and all this does is it moves it forward 300 units. Is it being blocked or not? Alright, hope you had fun. Bye!